Okay, so today we're uh, diving into something pretty powerful.
Yeah.
We're taking a deep dive into Kahlil Gibran's Pity the Nation. You might know him from The Prophet. But
Right.
this poem, Pity the Nation, is like a hidden doorway into a whole other side of him.
Yeah, it's true. This single poem, Pity the Nation, it gives us a glimpse into not only his personal struggles, but also
Right.
the turbulent world that he was living in, the
Mhm.
early 20th century. I
Yeah.
mean, huge change,
Yeah.
especially in his native Lebanon. I mean,
Yeah.
just imagine the Ottoman Empire crumbling around him,
Yeah,
whispers of revolution all around him. All of that just kind of seeps into this poem.
absolutely. So to really understand it, we need to kind of go beyond just reading it,
Mm-hmm.
right? We need to
Yeah.
step into his shoes a little bit, understand his journey
Right.
from a small village in Lebanon to the bustling streets of Boston to the artistic haven of Paris.
Yeah, and what's fascinating is how
Yeah.
those personal experiences of his intertwine with the poem's themes, He was born in 1883
Okay.
in Bashari, Lebanon, which at the time was under Ottoman rule,
Right.
but raised Maronite Christian.
Mhm.
So that upbringing amidst this very diverse
Uh-huh.
and politically charged landscape, it really shaped his worldview. And it's really key to understanding the poem's layers.
I think before we unpack the meaning of it all,
Yeah.
I think it would be great to actually hear the poem in its entirety
Sure.
so that we can really absorb its powerful imagery and themes.
Okay, so pity the nation that is full of beliefs and empty of religion.
Mm.
Pity the nation that wears a cloth it does not weave, eats a bread it does not harvest, and drinks a wine that flows not from its own winepress.
Wow.
Pity the nation that acclaims the bully as hero, and that deems the glittering conqueror bountiful.
Yeah.
Pity the nation that despises a passion in its dream, yet submits in its awakening. Pity the nation that raises not its voice, save when it walks in a funeral, boasts not except among its ruins, and will rebel not save when its neck is laid between the sword and the block. Pity the nation whose statesman is a fox, whose philosopher is a juggler, and whose art is the art of patching and mimicking. Pity the nation that welcomes its new ruler with trumpetings and farewells him with hootings, only to welcome another with trumpetings again.
Wow.
Pity the nation whose sages are dumb with years and whose strong men are yet in the cradle.
Yeah.
Pity the nation divided into fragments, each fragment deeming itself a nation.
Wow. Every line is so heavy with meaning. It's almost like a prophecy.
Yeah.
Let's start with that first line. Pity the nation that is full of beliefs and empty of religion.
Right.
What do you think he's getting at here?
It's powerful, right?
Yeah.
I think what he's doing there is drawing a very stark distinction between blind faith and true spirituality. He's calling out a nation that clings to dogma without truly living its values.
So it's not necessarily a critique of religion itself, but
Right.
rather this critique of hypocrisy and empty rituals
Absolutely.
about,
Yeah.
walking the walk,
Walking the walk.
not just talking the talk.
And remember, his family was Maronite Christian,
Right.
but he was also exposed to Islam and Sufism.
Right.
So he saw beauty in different faiths, but he also witnessed how religious fervor could be twisted to serve political agendas.
Wow.
And I think that definitely informed his complex relationship with organized religion.
Yeah. I'm really starting to see how all these personal experiences connect
Yeah.
to these broader themes.
Yeah.
And the imagery he uses is so striking.
It is.
Wears a cloth. It does not weave.
Uh-huh.
Glittering conqueror.
Right.
Boasts not except among its ruins.
Yeah.
These are powerful symbols.
powerful symbols.
What do they tell us about the nation that he's describing?
Yeah, he's definitely a master of symbolism,
Yeah.
that's for sure.
Yeah.
That line, wearing a cloth it does not weave, that speaks to this loss of cultural authenticity.
It suggests a nation that's mimicking others instead of embracing its own identity.
So it's about being true to yourself, both individually and as a nation.
Yes.
That really resonates with me.
Yeah, and the glittering conqueror that represents the allure of power and domination,
Right.
but it's ultimately empty and destructive. It reminds me of the Ottoman Empire itself.
Oh, yeah.
Outwardly powerful, but inwardly decaying.
That's a great point.
Yeah.
And boasting only among its ruins.
Yes.
What a poignant image.
Yeah.
It speaks to this nation that can only find pride in its past glories,
Right.
unable to face its present reality.
And this connects to another key event in Gibran's life.
Okay.
The Great Famine of Mount Lebanon.
Right.
Which was just this horrific tragedy that killed tens of thousands of people.
Yeah.
Gibran witnessed firsthand the suffering of his people and the devastating impact of political inaction.
Wow.
And this experience deeply shaped his worldview.
And it's reflected in his poem, Dead Are My People, which is filled with grief and anger.
It's like he's saying that true strength lies not in military might, but in resilience.
Yes.
And the ability to rise from the ashes.
Precisely. And remember, this was a time of growing nationalism in Lebanon and throughout the Ottoman Empire. Gibran yearned for his homeland's freedom,
Right.
but he was also wary of blind patriotism and the dangers of dividing a nation into fragments,
Right.
you know?
Mhm.
His poem really reflects this complex and nuanced perspective that he had on all of this.
Hmm.
Let's kind of rewind a bit and delve a little deeper into Gibran's personal journey.
Okay.
It really mirrors the themes of Pity the Nation in some fascinating ways.
Yeah.
Imagine him as a young boy in Lebanon, witnessing his father's troubles with Ottoman authorities. This ultimately leads to the family's emigration to America.
Yeah, what a dramatic shift that must have been.
Oh, yeah.
From a small village to the bustling streets of Boston.
Yeah.
It's like being thrown into a completely different world.
Absolutely. And this experience of navigating between cultures is crucial to understanding Gibran's work. In Boston, he encountered this vibrant Lebanese community, but at the same time, he's immersing himself in Western art and literature.
Right.
It's here that he meets F. Holland Day,
Right.
who was this renowned photographer
Sure.
who exposed Gibran to symbolism and artistic experimentation.
And Day even used Gibran as a model for some of his photographs.
That's right.
Right.
Yeah.
Some of them have this almost prophetic quality to them, which is quite interesting considering Gibran's later fame with the prophet.
Exactly. Day recognized something unique in Gibran. And their artistic connection was significant. But then in a twist of fate, Gibran's family sends him back to Lebanon to attend a Maronite school in Beirut.
Right.
They wanted him to stay connected to his roots, to balance his exposure to Western influences.
It seems like they understood that both sides of his heritage were essential to his development as an artist.
Right.
He needed to absorb the richness of both worlds.
And he did just that.
Yeah.
He immersed himself in Arabic literature, poetry, and philosophy, rediscovering his cultural heritage.
Yeah.
However, this period was also marked by profound personal tragedies. The loss of his siblings and his mother within a few years.
It's heartbreaking to think about how much loss he experienced at such a young age.
Yeah.
You can feel that deep sense of grief and longing in many of his poems.
Absolutely. It's woven into the fabric of his work.
Yeah.
But even in the face of such immense sorrow, his artistic spirit flourished upon returning to Boston.
Okay.
He holds his first art exhibition.
Wow.
And meets Mary Haskell.
Okay.
This remarkable woman who became his patron, editor, and confidant.
Mary Haskell's role in Gibran's life can't be overstated.
Absolutely not.
Can it? She supported him financially, emotionally, and intellectually, playing a crucial role in his artistic development.
Their relationship was complex and multifaceted, but her belief in his genius was unwavering with her support. Gibran embarks on another pivotal journey.
Okay.
This time to Paris, where he studied art at the Academy. Julian, a renowned institution that attracted talented artists from all over the world.
So we have Boston, Beirut, and now Paris.
Yes.
Each city leaving its mark on his artistic soul.
Yeah.
It's like he's gathering these diverse threads of experience and weaving them into something new and extraordinary.
And in Paris, he encounters another figure who would profoundly influence his art. Auguste Rodin, the celebrated sculptor whose work redefined modern sculpture. Gibran saw in Rodin a kindred spirit, an artist who understood the power of form, emotion, and the human condition.
Rodin was known for his incredibly expressive sculptures, often depicting human figures in states of intense emotion.
Right.
I could see how that would resonate with Gibran, who was also exploring themes of longing, suffering, and spiritual awakening in his own work.
Absolutely. They both shared a deep understanding of the human form as this vessel for expressing profound emotions and ideas. And though they only met a couple of times, Rodin's influence is evident in Gibran's later works.
It's like he learned from Rodin how to imbue his art with this raw, visceral energy. And while he was in Paris, The political landscape back home was also undergoing a major transformation.
That's right.
The Young Turk Revolution in 1908 sent shockwaves through the Ottoman Empire.
Yeah.
And the movement for Arab independence was gaining momentum.
That's right. And Gibran was deeply involved in these political discussions, even though he was living abroad. Yeah. He longed for his homeland's freedom, but also recognized the complexities and potential pitfalls of revolution. His art became a platform for expressing these political and social concerns, adding another layer of depth to his work.
It's like he was constantly navigating between these different worlds, the world of art, the world of politics, and the world of personal experience. Yeah. And it all comes together in his unique and powerful voice.
And then in 1911, he makes this pivotal decision that would shape the rest of his life. He moves to New York City, a melting pot of cultures, and a thriving center for artistic and intellectual exchange.
New York City in the early 20th century must have been an exhilarating place for someone like Gibran, who thrived on diversity and intellectual stimulation.
Absolutely.
It seems like the perfect setting for him to explore new ideas and connect with other artists and thinkers.
Absolutely. And it was in New York that he truly found his artistic community. He connected with this group of fellow Arab writers and artists and formed a literary society called the Pen League.
The Pen League played a significant role in modern Arabic literature.
They did.
Didn't they?
Yes.
They were pushing boundaries and challenging traditional forms, paving the way for a new era of creative expression.
They were truly pioneers.
Yeah.
And Gibran was at the forefront of this movement. He was writing and publishing in both Arabic and English, exploring a wide range of themes and styles.
Yeah.
It was during this period that he truly hit his stride as an artist and thinker.
And then in 1923 came the publication of The Prophet,
Right.
which catapulted him to international fame.
It did.
It's amazing to think about how his journey led him to this point,
Yeah.
from a small village in Lebanon
Right.
to becoming one of the most celebrated writers of his time.
It's a remarkable story of resilience, creativity, and the enduring power of the human spirit.
Right.
But even with his newfound fame, he never forgot where he came from. His roots in Lebanon, his experiences as an immigrant, his political and social concerns, all of this continued to inform his work.
So we've talked about his incredible life, you know, the journeys, the losses, the triumphs.
Yeah.
But let's zoom in on his art itself.
Right.
You know, it wasn't just what he said,
Right.
but how he said it that made him so unique.
Absolutely. He was a master of blending styles and influences.
Yeah.
Imagine his New York studio, you know, canvases, manuscripts, the scent of paint.
Yeah.
It was just this melting pot of ideas reflecting his own journey from east to west.
And his early drawings, they have this ethereal quality, almost dreamlike.
Yeah.
It makes me think of the symbolist movement, where the image itself is a poem, not just a realistic depiction.
Spot on. It wasn't about capturing the physical world precisely,
Right.
but conveying deeper emotions and ideas.
Right.
Like those mystical figures in Spirits Rebellious. You know, they represent rebellion and longing, almost echoing the themes of Pity the Nation.
So even in his visual art,
Yeah.
we see that same search for truth and authenticity
Right.
that runs through his writing.
Uh-huh.
It's like he's using two languages to explore the same questions.
Exactly. And as he matured, his art evolved. His paintings, especially the later ones, became bolder, more expressive, almost like visions.
Right.
You can see the influence of Rodin there, that powerful sense of form and movement.
It's like he learned from Rodin how to sculpt with paint,
Yes.
creating these dramatic contrasts of light and shadow.
Yes. And remember, he was also experimenting with color.
Right.
Inspired by J.M.W. Turner's luminous landscapes.
Ooh, wow.
Yeah.
Turner's use of color was revolutionary, and Gibran absorbed that.
He did.
Think about the painting Rose Sleeves.
Yes.
Those rich layered colors create an almost otherworldly atmosphere.
It's like the colors themselves are symbols, adding another dimension to his work.
But I'm curious, how did his visual art and writing connect? Were they separate pursuits or did they influence each other?
For Gibran, art wasn't compartmentalized. It was all part of a single unified vision.
Right.
His writing informed his art, and his art deepened his writing.
Yeah.
They were two sides of the same coin.
That's fascinating. So it wasn't just about illustrating his stories,
Right.
but creating this richer, more multi-layered experience for the reader.
Precisely take the frontispiece he created for The Madman.
Okay.
This haunting image of three figures intertwined, titled The Three Are One. It's a visual representation of the book's themes of identity, isolation, and the search for connection.
Right. And those stark, dreamlike landscapes in The Prophet,
Yes.
they're not just backdrops.
Right.
They're visual metaphors for the soul's journey.
Exactly. And notice how often he uses nature as a symbol. Trees, mountains, the sea.
Yeah.
They represent strength, resilience, interconnectedness.
Right.
Ideas that echo in Pity the Nation, too.
It's like he's saying nature itself holds the answers.
Yeah, if we just learn to listen. And there's often this tension between darkness and light,
Right.
despair and hope in his work, both visually and in his writing.
That tension reflects the complexity of the human experience.
Yeah.
He knew life wasn't easy. He'd seen suffering, loss, political turmoil.
Right.
But he also believed in the power of the human spirit to overcome adversity and find meaning.
And that belief shines through,
Yeah.
even in his darkest works.
Right.
There's always this glimmer of hope,
Uh-huh.
this sense that beauty and meaning can emerge even from pain.
And that brings us back to Pity the Nation.
Yeah.
Remember those lines about the nation boasting only among its ruins, rebelling only when its neck is on the block? It's not just despair. It's a testament to resilience, a refusal to give up hope.
It's a powerful message.
It is.
Especially for a nation struggling for its identity and freedom.
Yeah.
It's like he's saying, yes, we've been through a lot, but we're still here.
Yeah.
We're still fighting.
Uh-huh.
We still have a voice. And art gives that voice power. Gibran understood that art could inspire change, challenge the status quo, awaken the human spirit.
So for him, art wasn't just about aesthetics.
Right.
It was about making a difference in the world.
Yes.
It's what makes his work so timeless. It's not just beautiful. It speaks to something deep within us.
He was a visionary.
Yeah.
He saw the potential for humanity to evolve, to transcend its limitations, to create a better world. And he believed art had a vital role to play in that process.
So as we wrap up our deep dive into Gibran's Pity the Nation, what do we take away from this journey through his life, his art, and his ideas?
I hope it's a renewed sense of wonder, a spark of inspiration. Maybe it's a desire to explore your own creative potential or a deeper understanding of the power of art to shape our world.
And remember, as Gibran himself wrote, you are far greater than you know, and all's well.
Indeed, let his words and art be a guide on your own journey. Go out there and create, explore, and make your own mark on the world.
Thank you for joining us on this deep dive. Until next time, keep seeking the extraordinary within